Hi, welcome back to my channel and thank you for joining me today for day 25 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christie's Beautiful Life round 15, and today's sketch has been provided by Brandi Jo. I'll try and remember to add her details in the comments box below. So today I'm documenting 4 little photos of James on his birthday last Monday, and I'm using Joyful Notes again. It's the same collection that I used to document the photos of Amelia on their birthday. So you can see I've cut 2 strips of the yellow paper. They're approximately 2 inches, 2¼ inches wide, and I'm just adding the fishtail banners at the ends of these. Now I have taken a little bit of liberty with this sketch. I love the sketch, but I'm not very good at adding things in the centre and as precise as they are in the sketch. So I'm still using the 4 photos and I'm still using the fishtail banners, but I'm sort of going my own way using one of my favourite ways of scrapping with 2 horizontal lines and 2 photos on each of them. So before I started filming, I did go through some of my Hey Little Magpie dies and die cut some pieces from the 6x8 paper pad. So I've got the 2 long film strips there, the frames, which are the slide frames, I think they're called, and the scalloped border there cut out of black cardstock, and that's the doodle borders from Hey Little Magpie. So I'm just going to distress the edges of each of these yellow pieces with the fishtail banner and get those stuck down so that then I can start embellishing the page. So I've just grabbed my T-square ruler there, of course, to make sure that everything is straight, because I'm not very good at that. I think when you're sitting filming, you don't want to put your head in front of the camera, so you have to sit back a little, and it's not always easy to see when everything's straight on the page. So just using my Tim Holtz edge distressor there to get those edges roughed up. If you don't have an edge distressor and wanted to recreate this page, just use the edge of your scissors or a file of some kind, an emery board or something would work. So again, just checking that I'm happy with the positioning of that and that it is straight, and then I can use my T-square ruler to get it stuck down. Just getting rid of some of the paper dust there. So there's the negative slide frame that I was talking about. I cut one of each size die, a large one to put at the top and then one of the smaller ones to add to the bottom. So just tucking these bits in to check that I'm happy, and you can see I've already pulled out the title from the foam stickers from this collection that says Happy Birthday, and this is the one, if you watch my previous video of Amelia's, I think it was last Thursday, I put that one up, of Amelia's photos of the birthday. I used the same collection and said I was keeping this title for the photos of James because it was blue. So just adding that die cut border there again. I love that. It's like a doodled stamp edge, a large doodled stamp edge, and it's really handy for adding to strips like this. So just still trying to decide where to put that title. It does end up at the bottom, in fact. I was trying to put it at the top there, but it just worked better at the bottom for me. I just felt it looked better and more balanced. So I'm going to add some foam pads behind my photos. These are the 25mm Sticks 2 foam pads. They come on a huge roll. We sell them at Hey Little Magpie and they're absolutely fantastic. But the roll does tend to explode when you open it off the card backing, so it's worth cutting it into strips and adding it to one of these little photo boxes. A friend recommended that to me and I've not looked back since. It's such a good idea. So as I say, this is the smaller slide frame that I just pulled off there. So I'm going to stick the film strip down and then add that slide frame on top. These dies are absolutely fantastic. I'll be using them all the time because they're just so versatile. We've seen them a lot in scrapbook collections recently, the film strip particularly in 49er Market collections. So if you want more than you get in a pack, I would recommend these dies. So nearly there with the positioning, just checking that I'm happy with how that black border is going to go, and it's going to butt up against the edge of that film strip frame there. And then I'll add this little blue frame in as well. And that's just a layering piece behind the photo, and it helps to anchor the other embellishments that I'm going to add. So I'm going to add the title next. I have a bit of a faff with this backing. I don't pull it all off the first time, so just making sure the next time that I do get the actual backing and not just half of it. There we go. Trying not to bend and crease the title as I go, and I managed. So that's a result for me. So now just gluing those top bits, and then once these are all down I can start embellishing. Just use my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, I find that the easiest, and I've got the nozzles that you buy separately for a very thin point, so that you can get precision gluing down. Again, we sell those at Hey Little Magpie if you're interested. So there we go, that's the border down, and then I'll just add this frame, and then the photos once again raised onto foam. And it just casts some shadows, provides different layers, and I really like the depth that that provides. And I'm just going to overlap these the same as I've done on the bottom. So 2 foam squares is plenty on these little photos. I printed the 4 photos on a 4x6 page through using the app, the Becky Higgins Project Life app, which is free on the iPhone. So now I'm going to go through all the ephemera pieces and work out what I want to add. I find this little piece that's been cut off something, I think. I'm actually going to convert that into a tag shortly. I'll add a hole to it, and I realised when I finished filming that I didn't actually add the thread, so I do add some thread off camera, and you'll see that in the close-ups at the end. So just going through and finding little bits and pieces that I can tuck around these photos. Lovely little banner piece there, which I don't think I added in the end, so I'm not quite sure what happened to that. Probably got knocked off while I was doing other bits and pieces. I love this little circle with the flower on it. I like the yellows and golds on this layout, so I've got that little circle, and I do find another tag to tuck under there as well. I was contemplating using this bird, but it didn't quite work for me. There's the tag that I was talking about. So just continuing to look through, I find this lovely flower, so I'm just going to add that to the right there. Just adds a little bit of height to the layout, which I enjoy. You can see how I've built up the height there. Now the foam pad was in the way, so I just cut the end of that tag off just to pop it down there. And then a little blue flower underneath that happy birthday piece. So just getting these bits stuck down now, because I know that I'm happy with those. And that flower. And I'll just leave it to overlap the photo. And then this is the tag, so you can see I've just added a little hole at the top so that I can convert that piece of paper into a tag, and that's a really easy way of adding interest to a page. So I find this little offcut of grid paper, so I'm going to add that to the bottom of the photo as a layer, and then that lovely gold label I've added to the left hand side of the photos. I've added a 17 from the thickers, the same as I did to the layout of Amelia, just layered onto that little cluster to the left hand side of those top photos. And now this is where I'm adding that grid paper that I found before to the bottom, like I say, just as another layer and something of interest at the bottom there. And now I'm going to bring this lovely bird back in, and it's just going to overlap the bottom of that photo so the wings look like it's flying. I really like that. And then this lovely blue ticket with gold foiling just works nicely as a piece to tuck in next to the photo there. So just finding a few other bits and pieces. I wanted a navy blue to tuck in the bottom left hand side of the photos, and I also found a paler blue to tuck into that top just there. So I just have to pull up that 7 to tuck that in, and then I can put that back down again. I just like layers behind my photos. I just think it adds interest, so that's why I was doing that. And here's that navy blue piece that I'm going to add to the left. These are all perforated, so you've seen me just bending them back in two to weaken the joint and then peeling it off. So I'm going to add my journaling along the bottom strip and then some more along the top. So the bottom just says about what we did, and then the top is what he's opening. It's his present from Amelia. So now coming in with some of the new Hey Little Magpie stamps. And I just wanted to add a few little chevrons. Brandi Jo's got some chevrons, you can see on the layout there. So this is just a nod to that. So one at the top there, and then another one at the bottom pointing to the photos. And then I'm going to come in with the star set from a different set of stamps. Or is it? It might be from this one actually. Yes, it is from this one. and scattered straw, which is a nice pale yellow, so not too in your face. And I'm just going to add some stars at the top here and then at the bottom left as well, and a few on the right hand side of the bottom strip. So just going around and peeling things up where necessary so that I can get them tight against those papers. I do have to pull this bird up in the end, but it's easily stuck back down again after. I'm just rotating that stamp to get them in the positions that I want. So here I am just adding a bit more glue, and then I shall add some, as I say, to the right hand side of that bottom banner. So this is creating that lovely diagonal that Brandi Jo has on the sketch, and I am going to bring in some splatters as well. So just bring in my Tim Holtz watercolour pencils, and I'm going to add some water to the black soot and then just splatter that in the two corners and around those stars in the middle as well. So just a tiny little bit of splattering, hardly anything, but it just adds interest to the page. And as I say, look at the close-ups at the end and you'll see the string that I added to that tag at the top. Thank you so much for joining me, and I shall see you again soon. Bye.